Welcome to The Explainer. So let's get right into it. We're going to break down why 2025 is shaping up to be this huge, critical turning point for the entire sports betting industry. You know, it's been 7 years since the Supreme Court basically blew the doors open for legalized sports betting. But let me tell you, the honeymoon phase, it is so over. Right now, the industry is staring down what you could only call a perfect storm of challenges, and it could totally reshape everything we know about it. And look, this isn't just one problem we're talking about. It's like everything is happening at once. As one industry exec, Max Bischel, put it, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. You've got these massive worlds, scandal, new tech, and even politics just colliding. And that's putting the whole industry under some serious, serious pressure. And this isn't just some behind-the-scenes drama, you know? This is hitting Main Street. Public opinion is souring, and it's happening fast. I mean, just look at this data from Pew Research. The number of American adults who think this is all bad for society jumped from 34% to 43% in just a couple of years. Wow, that is a huge swing. Okay, so let's get into it. First up, the first major storm cloud on the horizon. A massive wave of scandals that's making people question the very integrity of the games we all love. I mean, the headlines have just been brutal, right? It felt like every single week there was something new. In just 5 weeks this past fall, we saw gambling scandals pop up in, well, pretty much everywhere. We're talking the UFC, MLB, college basketball, even the NBA. It was just one after another.
So, you might be asking, what's the connection here? What's the common link in a lot of these scandals? Well, it often comes down to this one very specific kind of bet that is just blown up, the player prop bet. So instead of betting on, say, the Lakers to win, you're betting on whether LeBron James will score over or under 25 points. It's all about one player's stats.
And that's what makes these bets so vulnerable. Think about it. An NCAA official basically spelled it out. You don't have to get an entire team in on effects. All it takes is one single planner to, well, have a bad night on purpose. They can manipulate that outcome all by themselves. It's way easier. So this has kicked off a huge debate. It's kind of like two sides of the same coin, right? On one hand, you have the industry saying, hey, look, the system is working. We're catching these guys. But on the other hand, you've got a Senate committee sounding the alarm, calling it a new integrity crisis. They're worried this isn't just a few bad apples, but that the whole barrel might be rotten. All right, let's shift gears to the second massive wave hitting the industry. This one's all about technology, a new disruptor that's basically challenging the very definition of what sports betting even is. Okay, so what are they? They're called prediction markets, and the best way to think about them is like the stock market, but for events. Instead of buying a share of Apple, you're buying shares in whether something will happen or not. A simple yes or no. And it's not just sports, it's politics, it's, well, almost anything. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and really complicated. It's all about who's in charge. See, traditional sportsbooks, they answer to state gaming commissions. But these prediction markets, they say, nope, we're a financial product. They're regulated by a federal agency, the CFTC. And because of that loophole, they can operate in all 50 states, which is kicking off this huge regulatory turf war. And when I say they're growing, I mean they are exploding. Just look at Kalshi, one of the big players. Their weekly volume went up by 1,000% in 1 year. 1,000%. They're now handling over $1 billion a week. That's a B. And of course, now the big dogs like DraftKings and FanDuel are trying to get a piece of the action. Yes, so as you can imagine, this explosive growth has the big sports leagues, well, they're getting nervous. The NFL actually went before Congress and said, hold on a second. These things don't have the same safety nets that regular sports books do. They're basically saying these markets are wide open to manipulation. But the prediction markets, oh, they're not taking that sitting down. They fired right back. Their spokesperson basically said that's like saying the stock market has no rules, which is just absurd. They argue they are heavily regulated by the feds and that they have all the high-tech tools to spot funny business, just like Wall Street. Okay, and that brings us to the third part of our perfect storm. This one is a financial hit, and it came out of nowhere, buried deep inside a nearly 1,000-page tax bill that probably nobody read. So here's the deal. On January 1st, a new rule kicked in. It used to be that if you gambled, you could write off 100% of your losses against your winnings. Simple enough, right? Well, not anymore. Now you can only deduct 90%. So you might be thinking, okay, 10%, what's the big deal? Well, let's break it down, because it's a huge deal.
Imagine you bet 100 grand over a year, and you win 100 grand back. You broke even, right? You didn't make a penny. Under the old rules, you'd owe zero in taxes, but now, because you can only deduct 90,000 of your losses, the IRS sees $10,000 of phantom income, money you never actually made, and they're going to tax you on it. Ouch.
And critics are screaming about this. Congresswoman Dina Titus from Nevada says this is a major problem. Not just because it's unfair to bettors, but because of the ripple effect. What happens when you make it harder to bet legally? Well, people might just take their money to the illegal, offshore sites, where there are absolutely no rules and no protections for anybody. So let's put it all together. You've got this crisis of integrity from all the scandals, you've got this disruptive new tech shaking up the rules, and you've got this financial squeeze from a new tax law. All of it hitting at the exact same time. So what on earth happens next?
It really is the perfect storm, isn't it? A crisis of trust, a regulatory war, and a financial gut punch, all happening right now.
And that leaves us with the big unanswered question. With the rules of the game changing this fast, and this dramatically, who's going to win and who's going to lose? The whole world of sports and betting is being rewritten as we speak. And honestly, the only thing we know for sure is that nothing will be the same.